Last week on Wasted Local Talent. And that was last week's episode, sped up times 1,000.
Hey, who are you? Who are you? What do you think you're doing in here?
I'm here to replace Jed because he can't show up to record anymore.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I've been kind of wondering where he's been for the past couple weeks. Fuck it, I guess.
All right, well, since I've got the go-ahead to replace Jed, my name is Jeeb, and I know I sound like the hormone monster from Big Mouth, but I swear to God I won't make you hard. It's definitely not a possibility. This week we have part 2 with Maggie from Vertical Vixens Pole Fitness out of Clarksburg. This episode, Jed's wife shows up, Jess, and kind of ruins the day, but it's okay because we still love her. Nah, she didn't really ruin the day. We had a lot of fun with her. They had a lot of fun with her. I don't know why I'm saying that I was there because I was totally not. But yeah, Vertical Vixens Pole Fitness, they're located in Clarksburg on East Main Street. Hold on a second. Let me find my notes here. 741 East Main Street in Clarksburg. And they're having their grand opening on November 9th. Doors are open. Oh, I gotta pee really bad. Oh, this is bad. Doors open at 4 p.m. At that location there. The ribbon cutting ceremony. Fuck. Oh my God, I can't get comfortable. This is bad. Oh, I gotta pee. Oh. Their grand opening is Friday, November 9th. Doors open at 4 p.m. The ribbon cutting ceremony is at 5 p.m. Studio showcase at 6 p.m. And again, that's at 741 East Main Street in Clarksburg, West Virginia. West Virginia. I don't know why I said West Virginia. It's obvious. It's right down the road here. We're based in West Virginia. We record West Virginia peoples. And I'm going to get fired on my first day here. This is not good. So if you like the music that's being played in the intro and the outro of all of our episodes, that's by a band called Best Kept Secret.
Jesus Christ, it's Worst Kept Secret, you dumb fuck.
I'm not really a big fan of the abuse that you're giving me right now, Daniel. I would really appreciate it if you would just...
Maybe if you look at the fucking notes that I gave you, instead of just rattling off random bullshit.
I really don't appreciate it, man. I don't like the way you're talking to me.
Okay, listen, you can't cry. I'm tired of the crying. I think that's why Jed's not showing up anymore, is because he's tired of crying all the time. So if you could just calm down, and let's just finish out this intro.
Okay. I'll compose myself for the rest of this intro. But the song is called Bender, and it's by Worst Kept Secret, and they're from Morgantown, West Virginia. You can find them online on Facebook and Instagram at Worst Kept Secret WV, and you can check them out on Spotify and iTunes, and all the musical playing sites. I don't listen to music. I listen to podcasts because I'm a man. So yeah.
Okay, so first you're gonna get the name wrong, then you're gonna cry, then you're gonna try to pigeonhole people who listen to music.
Okay, I'll just stop, saying my personal opinions. Worst Kept Secret, bands in town, Spotify, iTunes, Instagram and Facebook, Worst Kept Secret WV. You can check out Wasted Local Talent on Instagram at Wasted Local Talent. You can check them out on Twitter at Wasted Local. Just search Wasted Local Talent on Facebook. And if you want to go and poke fun at Daniel because he's being an asshole to me, you can find him on Instagram at Hover Around Genocide because he's fucking old and he's going to have Hover Around soon. And I gagged him so he can't talk back to me anymore and tell me how terrible I'm doing. I think he's got some pent-up aggression because, Jed always gives it to him. But yeah, check out Wasted Local Talent. Check out 13 Palm Trees. That's their parent company. You can check out all of the podcasts that they have. Besides Wasted Local Talent, they have D&D Kinda. They have Video Game Mythos, and they have Gurus of Gaming podcast. You can search for 13 Palm Trees on any of the major podcasting apps, sites, all that, and it'll pull up all of those. Check them all out. They're pretty fucking sweet. And if you could, hit the subscribe button and leave a comment. Give us some feedback on how we're doing and how rad this show is. We always appreciate that. It's always good to hear from the listeners on their point of view on the show, if they're enjoying it or not. It seems like they are. We just recently went over 1,000 listens, so it's pretty fucking cool. So we thank everybody for listening, and thanks for everybody who's tuning in week to week. And I guess we're going to go ahead now and get to the episode. And I really, really hope you enjoy it. And I hope you have a great day. And it's going to start getting cold out there. And I really hope that everybody out there stays safe during the winter times. And I feel like this might be my last episode. I think Daniel's getting out of his restraints now, so I kind of got to go. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Part 2, tangents of vertical vixens.
Random shit. So my wife just showed up. Jess, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jessica.
Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. So we are interviewing Maggie, which you two obviously know each other, but...
Hey, girl.
Oh, hey.
Do you have any questions that you want to ask Maggie or anything you want to talk about?
I don't know what you guys talked about already. I feel like I don't want to repeat questions.
I'll just ask a question, and if it's something we've talked about, we'll just move on to the next one that you have.
Yeah, we'll just kick
That's
you
fine.
off the show at that point.
Hey, bitch, you suck. Go away.
You'll be done. No pressure, though.
So, how do you feel about actually buying your own building, undertaking all of that? I feel like that would be a lot.
I feel a combination of things. I feel pumped. First of all, this is totally a lifelong dream of mine. I feel wicked overwhelmed. Also tired. But excited, man. My parents have run this cooperative artist studio since I was a kid. My dad's a blacksmith, so he's got his shop. My mom does glass work. They've got painters and sculptors and various artists. And so I grew up in this cooperative art space. And I've always wanted my own. So I feel like this is my version of that, because I don't think we've touched upon this while we've been recording yet, but we've got a girl putting a hair salon in the basement. And then I'd like to do maybe some art studios in the other room. And I kind of just want this to be a collaborative place that various arts, whether they're, aerial arts or visual arts or music or whatever, I kind of want to have my own version of the Foundry, which is what my parents' studio was called.
That's really cool, though.
I'm excited.
Are you... I remember when you first at least posted about it, you said that you guys were going to make a place where shows could happen, maybe?
Yeah, so the pole studio is in the actual church room, and every church has an altar, right? So we're referring to it as the stage now. So we've got the stage, and the poles go up and down easily. I could take all of my poles down in 10 minutes. So we'd like to do acoustic shows and open mic nights and that kind of thing. Clear the poles out and bring the music in on the weekends.
Just not the crazy punk shows. You don't want to ruin.
Right, as much as I would love to do that, because I
Yeah.
love that. You break my mirrors, we're gonna have a problem.
So if anybody's listening, they really want to piss Maggie off. One, break your mirrors. One, Drew's a big dude, but honestly, I'm more scared of Maggie.
Yeah, I'll
sure.
fuck you up.
yeah,
You fuck with my
definitely.
studio, I
Yeah.
will fuck you up.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Steal all of your poles. Just
She's
all of them.
Oh, girl,
Just play hide and seek. Where are they in your church? Huh?
There's a lot of places they could be. There's a lot of rooms in this place.
So how challenging is it? Because you guys have a lot at home, too.
Yeah.
To take care of and upkeep with. That's got to be hard finding a balance between the business and then, your personal space.
It is. My husband and I have 15 acres in Doddridge County, and we own our home. We've been focusing on the construction of the church for the last 5 months, and things at home are definitely going on the back burner. Luckily, the bulk of the work at the church is done, so we can go back to working on the house. But yeah, it's definitely been a juggling act.
Yeah,
for sure.
Have you still been dealing with the whole them drilling and running pipe on your property?
Yes. It's funny you should mention that. Most of y'all know, and I'm not going to elaborate on this too much, but I'm not super supportive of the gas and oil industry because of its environmental impacts. They are putting a pipeline through our property, which is kind of sad because my husband put a lot of work into buying this property that they've just sort of demanded that we fork over to them. However, they paid us for it, and we bought a church with the money. So Thank you, Dominion, but also like screw you a little bit.
Yeah, they
it's a
ruin-
double-edged sword. Yeah.
So they come in and they just ruin the property, like completely. Like where they run it, I'm sure it's taking trees down.
Yeah,
digging
I
up, and then
haven't
just,
had the heart to go up there. It's all the way at the top of our hill.
Okay.
It takes like 20 minutes to hike up there. I haven't had the heart to look at it, but Drew went up there the other day and said it kind of looks like a war zone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I figured they probably just left it.
Yeah, well, it's in the contract that they have to.
Yeah,
they have to
fix it
restore
up to
it.
a
Okay.
degree, yeah.
They're gonna
I gotcha.
like, plant grass and
Okay.
whatever.
But the
but-
worst part about it, though, is that those lines have to be serviced and they have
Yeah.
to be checked on a regular basis.
Right.
So then not only does it suck because, they're coming in and doing that against your will kind of and changing your property, or,
Right.
irreversibly.
Yep.
But then they also have to come back on a regular basis
Right.
and get on your property all the time. and
Luckily, we
potentially
don't
damage it.
we didn't let them put an access road like through our property, so they have to come up from the backside.
Okay.
So like we won't really be affected by them servicing it, which is nice. The three things that I don't love about it is pipelines explode sometimes. It's not guaranteed, obviously, but it could happen, or they could leak. B, that was the only other flat spot on our property. Like we own 15 acres, but it's 15 acres of like
Doddridge County.
correct. It's very steep.
Yeah.
So flat
nice out there,
space.
though.
It is. It's
exciting.
beautiful.
I love flat space. You're just like, yes,
Right.
this is great.
Right. So that was our only other flat space, and our plan was to build a little cabin up there someday, and now we can't. And then the last thing, what was the last thing? I had a third point, and now I can't remember it.
It's gone.
It's gone. Yep. There's a third thing. We'll get back to that.
So I guess that's another question I'd like to ask you, because of the fact that you didn't grow up here. I kind of personally haven't grown up here. I feel like the fossil fuel industry has sort of taken advantage of West Virginia.
I agree.
And I feel like there's a lot of residents here that would disagree with me on that. My papa was a coal miner, so that's in my family and everything. And I think most people can tie that back at some point in their roots.
Absolutely.
But I definitely feel like a lot of the issues that we have economically, and kind of what we were talking about earlier about how, one of the issues in West Virginia is there's just nothing to do. I think a lot of that can be tied into the fact that so much of our economy has been bottlenecked into that industry.
Right. I think I feel a little bit weird talking about this because I am from out of state. And
But it
people
gives
are
you
like,
a good viewpoint on it, though.
right. I mean, I'm a Yankee with an opinion, which makes me sometimes feel a little bit like weird. I never want to offend anybody. I feel like it's detrimental to the environment. Number one, that's my concern. Number two, I feel like they take advantage of rural poverty. There's a lot of people, like they're doing this out where I live. There's a lot of poverty out where I live. And when a company comes in and they offer, we're going to give you $1,000.
For a lot of people, that's make it or break
That's
it.
huge
Yeah.
for a lot of people. I mean, most people in that situation, living in that kind of poverty, have never seen that kind of money. So they're like, yeah, I'll take it. But they aren't necessarily educated on like the adverse effects of it, or how it could affect them down the line. So that upsets me a lot. But then on the flip side, it's like the only industry.
Yeah, it's all that's here. Yeah.
Exactly. So
But
like,
I think that kind of ties back into what I was saying earlier about they've kind of taken advantage of West Virginia because
Absolutely.
that's the only industry because they've made it that way.
you want to feed your kids,
Yeah.
you want health insurance, you want to be able to live semi-comfortably, you work for the gas company. So I don't even blame the people that work for the
can't
gas
blame
company.
them. That's the only
No.
option they have.
They're just trying to survive. It goes up the ladder for me. Like my anger is definitely geared more towards the higher ups.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because even those people that are working for the company are being taken advantage of.
Oh,
Because
yeah, for sure.
if they live in an area where they're drilling or whatever, a lot of those people get sick.
Yeah. Well, wasn't
know?
it like last year or 2 years ago maybe that Dominion had that like big time worker strike because they were
Yeah.
messing with their benefits?
Right.
Yeah. So
Right. I thought that strike was awesome, though. I'm always like an advocate of people standing up for labor rights, no matter what industry they're in.
I think what worries me the most about the oil and gas is I'm worried that what's gonna happen is the same thing that happened with coal, where, coal isn't dead. Coal is integral to the United States economy. What happened with coal is that they automated so many of the jobs that they just couldn't. I mean, they saw a way to cut costs and reduce employees, and they did because it was a good business decision. But where that hurt us was we were so reliant on it that when it left, it created such a vacuum that we struggled for so long. I mean, I remember whenever I was really little, before oil and gas exploded like it has, people didn't have jobs. Like, it was hard. And now that oil and gas is here, it's not nearly as hard as it was back then, but I'm worried that the same thing is going to happen. And there's not going to be that same need for people to work. And then what do? We still never fixed the problem from when we had coal.
Right.
We've never brought, a multitude of jobs into the state to support people.
Right. Yeah, there has to be like some kind of alternative industry.
Yeah.
Because
you're relying on something that isn't finite. It's not, it could leave. Of
Right.
course, anything could leave, but especially like the need for oil and gas, or like you said, like something that, oh man, I just like lost the word. Something that's, like you said, automated, that like takes over like other people's jobs. Like, I mean, that's something exactly what that is.
We could talk about this for a long time.
Yeah.
oh my god, I know. I'm thinking about like 10 other tangents I could go off on.
So one question that I did want to bring up, one topic that I wanted to discuss that I think will be a little bit cheerier than what we've been talking about. But a lot of what we've talked about so far is that, part of your goal is not just to own your own business and to, run your show and everything, but it's you want to empower women.
Yes.
So I'm not going to tread lightly here because I want you to take over this. But so I feel like there's this issue that a lot of people run into with feminism where, they want to touch it with like a 10-foot pole.
Right.
Because it feels like there's this line in the sand that a lot of people don't want to cross, where they feel like if we empower women too much, we almost inherently make them more fragile. What do you guys think about that?
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
So that's an argument that I see a lot of people make.
Too fragile.
Well, not that you're making women fragile, but that feminism in itself, right, is like inherently downplaying women.
By saying what? That we're oppressed currently?
Yeah.
I mean, we are.
Oh, I agree. No, I'm agreeing with you, but like,
right, but this is somebody
but
else's opinion.
that's normally whenever people make an argument against it, that's a common theme that a lot of people will spit out.
Right. Well, that sounds to me like they're just denying that there's a problem at all.
Yeah.
And that's a really great way to shut somebody up.
Yeah.
Is to be like, wow, you have no right to bitch because, and it sounds like they're like spinning it in a way that is like, no, you are powerful. You are powerful. It's cool. There's no problem. I don't want to address this.
Yeah. Yeah. Like sweep it under the rug and just
that's
ignore
kind
it.
of what it sounds like to me. I personally have never run into that example. But that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
I feel like society in general, like especially through like social media, you see, I see a lot of that, and like you get both sides of it, and these people I feel like aren't seeing feminism for what it really is, and they have their own mindset of what it is, and then they just go off of that.
Right. What do you think? Like the mainstream person or whoever you're talking about, what do you think their interpretation of feminism is?
Like from stuff that I've seen them post, like women just complaining to complain because they want to complain. It's like...
I also see where they're just like get excited and they just jump into stuff. They're like, oh, hey, you're walking around with your boobs out. I'm going to do that too because that seems like a great idea. But they don't know what they're really talking about or what they're fighting for. A lot of people just blindly follow other people and they don't even really know what feminism means to other people, especially other people like a woman like yourself, like trying to get a business off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a lot of what social media is and how people can just say whatever they want that's on their mind.
Right.
No
But
repercussions.
they don't do the research or know what they're talking about. They just form opinions and post it. And I think that's a lot of the problem because you get these people who do that and will say something about a subject
and then all their friends will see it, and then that's in their mind too,
Right.
And then it just spreads.
A lot of folks,
and it's
when they read something, they take it as like the gospel,
Yeah.
instead
the
of like
literal
forming their own opinions about it. I think people who are not directly involved by whatever conflict it is, whether it be feminism or racism or whatever,
any topic like that, or
Right.
any topic in general.
I think that those people's job is to ask questions and to listen.
Yeah.
Like it's not necessarily up to those folks who are not affected by it to have the opinion. If you're not affected by it, you're not affected by it.
Yeah.
If you give a shit, that's great.
Yeah.
Then maybe start asking some questions and giving the people who are affected by it a chance to tell you what it's about instead of assuming or just jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah, and I think that's a problem with society in general. Like with
Absolutely.
anything, with politics, with sports, with anything.
Social media has made the world a very different place very quickly.
Yeah, because you get these.
It's very toxic.
It is,
It is.
and I participate in it, because I have the business and
Yeah.
I want to update people and advertise and whatever. But I really don't get political or opinionated that much anymore because it's like
you get people that will get in arguments and stuff. It's like, if you really feel that way, like, let's sit down and talk about that, because I
Right.
know that you can't form those opinions off the top of your head. You have to sit
Right.
and think and probably retype and then
Yep.
post it and Google it or
Yeah.
copy and paste somebody else's.
And that's what's so weird about social media is like when you're on social media, it's like everything is so decisive. Everybody is so polar opposites of everything.
Yeah.
But if you sit down with someone face to face and actually, discuss your beliefs, most of the time they're closer than what you think.
or you're gonna have a far more civil conversation
Yes.
because you don't have a screen
Yes.
to hide
Yeah.
behind, and maybe you'll actually hear somebody out.
Yeah, I think that's where we've kind of lost in society in itself, is that there's not a lot of social interaction anymore, especially around here, because there's not a lot of places to go to hang out. Like, you can go to a bar, but you're just going to get drunk or whatever.
Right.
There's not a lot of, places to go and just meet and talk to people.
That's
you
where I
know?
come in.
Exactly. And everybody, like you said, you can just hide behind your computer screen and say whatever you want to, and
Right.
talk to people in there, and you don't have to leave your house. And that's a problem, I think, with the world in general, and it's even worse in places like this where there's not a lot to do, so that's all you do.
Right.
So it's
Is
something
that
that fucking pisses me off.
social media
It
is
goes
pretty terrible.
clear back to
It
like the
kind of
band
scares
stuff.
me more than makes me angry. I think was part of one of the last generations that grew up. Like, I remember not having a computer.
Yeah.
Like, as a child, we didn't have a computer in our home.
And it's hard because like you don't want to be, the broken record of like this next generation is terrible.
But it's hard not to
but
get worked up about.
It is, I
and
mean-
things have changed so
Yeah.
fast since then.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of scary to think like, whoa, I'm 26 years old. In my lifetime, this thing has come in and totally changed the way that the world functions. And that is a short period of time. What's it going to be like in 20 years?
And I think that looking back on this in the future, like I think this is going to be, this general time period is going to be seen as kind of a transition, because I remember, and history buffs can butcher me listening to this if I get this wrong, but I want to say it was like around the time that Kennedy was elected, was whenever they first started televising presidential campaigns. And that is kind of marked as like a change in the way that elections occurred, because then you saw it live. It wasn't just somebody shows up in your town or close to you and you drive to a rally and you hear him
Right.
talk in person.
Yeah.
It's different whenever you're on TV.
Yeah.
And I think that we're kind of seeing, especially this past election, I think with, as much as Facebook and Twitter and, social media in general played a role on top of just, online news. And then of course, the whole fake news scandals and, the bots and all that. I think this is going to be something that we look back on and we see it as like a point in time where a very significant change happened.
I would love for a change. I'm ready. Scary place we live in.
Another topic we could go on about forever.
Yes, indeed, indeed.
Jess, you got anything?
Well, I was gonna ask this earlier, but do you plan on like maybe this is more of like trying to go back to your like business? Do you plan on like having food or like maybe like a bar eventually or anything like that? Because like if you're gonna have a venue, like you could always do like ventures, but I know like licensing and stuff like that is expensive as well.
Right. I would like to at some point, but yeah, like you said, the licensing and like getting everything up to code for that would be tough.
It would be. Yeah.
I know, Daniel, you probably know all about this.
So, I mean, if you're serving alcohol, beer licenses really aren't that expensive.
Right.
It's the liquor.
But even just like the health codes,
Yeah.
dealing with
Yeah,
food or coffee or whatever. I personally would love to have a coffee shop someday
I love
because
coffee shops.
listen, I grew up in New England and we take that shit so seriously. Coffee is an art form. And like, no offense, West Virginia, I love you guys, but like sometimes the coffee down here tastes like a glass of water with a rusty nail in the bottom of it.
Yep.
Going back to like what I was saying before about how like I want people to dance with, so I'm gonna make them. It's like I want good coffee.
So you're gonna
make
make
it.
it.
So maybe someday I'll make it. Right now I'm gonna take care of the pole studio. But in my, wildest dreams, I would totally love to do coffee someday.
And then like just like wondering, but like I've seen like certain businesses where you can be like bring your own beer or bring your own wine. Like how does that work? Like do you have to have a license for that? Like I don't really I've never really understood
that's
how that
more
works.
of an insurance thing. At least in my experience. Like my insurance company offers a thing where like for X amount of extra dollars you can do a BYOB thing. But like I don't know how I feel about that because like drunk people on poles.
Yeah.
Well, I meant more
Maybe
or less
for the
like
venue.
for the
Oh, for the
venue.
venue, for
no,
the
no.
venue.
Yeah, drunk people on poles, like you're just asking for
Yeah,
somebody to land
not-
on their neck and it will
Then
end
how
badly.
does that work for like underage people? Is it just like a
Honor system?
honor system?
I don't know.
Because you
Do
could still, like
have
if
to card?
if
I
you
think if it's a private event you can do BYOB. But I don't
see that's the thing is like with
Because
the bar.
if you had to card, I would think that you would have to have a license to be able to do that.
yeah, like with,
that
with-
sounds about right.
with the cafe, like I didn't really abide by those rules. So like if it was like a private thing,
You're
if you want to bring
bad.
your own beer, I get not wanting to rent the space and pay for the beer there.
Right.
We weren't allowed to have liquor at all. We
Yeah.
did all the time, obviously.
Oh, I know.
But for like, we couldn't sell wine because we didn't have a wine license. But for like the jazz strolls that we did,
There's a
we were
separate wine license
Yes.
outside
I
of beer.
figured
That
that,
is some
was beer.
bullshit.
Jesus.
you get beer, then you get a wine. So like say whenever we first started, we didn't know that ciders, like not like Red's Apple, that's an ale, but ciders like Angry Orchard, stuff like that, we were serving that. They came in, they're like, you can't serve that. You have to have a wine license.
Whoa.
Well, shit, because that's considered a wine. Just how it's made, it's different. But like for like the jazz strolls or different events,
I fucking hate people so much
Yeah.
just from like you saying that. That
Same.
makes me so angry.
but we could serve glasses of wine. We couldn't charge.
Oh.
So there's like that little bit of wiggle
Could you
room.
have a donation? Can
That's
I
what I was
donate?
gonna
we
say.
did, we did a
$3.
donation jar, and that's fine. But you can't legally, if without a license, you cannot legally sell the alcohol.
I was just about to tell that story. So when we lived in Mississippi whenever I was still in the military, and there was this like sandbar that we would go to, and
Like an actual in the ocean sandbar.
it was in the bay.
Yeah.
Well, there was this woman there and her husband, and they had this giant pontoon boat, right? And they would sell beer and liquor. I'm doing air quotes.
And food.
And food, but they didn't have licenses, so it was free.
Gotcha.
For
But
donation.
they had a donation jar.
Right. Very clever.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's ways to work the system with that.
Yeah.
Like if they came in
And they had
caught us with-
moonshine jello shots.
Yeah.
Which was,
Whoa.
It was a heckin' good
Sweet.
time.
It sounds like it.
Not to bring it back, but I'm still imagining like drunk women trying to pole dance.
Oh my god.
like eating it and like hitting the ground.
I've seen it once or twice in other venues. Not pretty.
what was your gnarliest fall?
Oh.
Your videos are my favorite to watch. I watch them all the time.
Bud. So it's kind of hard to explain if you don't like know various pole moves, but there's this move called the Titanic where
It sounds like you just go down anyway.
Somebody throws icy.
Oh my god,
Sorry,
that's great.
continue.
Okay.
Oh, the worst dad jokes ever.
So basically, you're holding on like literally with like your butt cheeks and like your leg, and you start like folded over, like think like reaching to touch your toes, and then you have to like use your lower back to like pull yourself up.
That sounds really
Titanic.
hard.
It's super fucking hard. And I was like, had like my hands down by my feet, and I was going to pull myself up. I was like halfway up my pole, and I lost my butt cheek grip, and I just like face planted right on the hardwood floor. Did not have a crash pad for that one. But I've never taken any like serious spills. Like I've never like gotten a concussion or like I've been pretty lucky, honestly. I don't take too many like crazy risks, which is kind of a shame because I know there's a lot more that I could do.
Yeah.
But I don't have a spotter that knows what they're doing because I'm the spotter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Drew will like, I'll be like, spot me. And he'll be like, no, I don't know how to do this. Sorry. So I don't know. That goes back to me wanting to take some lessons too. It's like, I know I could probably push my potential a lot further, but I need like to train with somebody who has more knowledge than I do. And being the only person really around here, it's no.
I was about to say,
be
like,
tough.
where would you take like lessons? Like, where would you have to go for that?
I would have to go to a city.
Like, would Pittsburgh have that?
Pittsburgh has, I know they have like one or two pole studios. I've never looked into it super deeply. I haven't heard of any big names in Pittsburgh, but sometimes like people host workshops. I've been to a couple, but I had to travel to them. So I don't know. I haven't really thought that far yet.
I mean, you do pretty good on your own. I mean, are you essentially like self-taught or?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I've taken one like workshop with like, this woman who's my hero, Marlo Fiskin, if you're listening. I love you. So yeah, I took a workshop with her, and then I took like one or two classes, like formal classes, but I had to travel for them. But everything else I like looked up on YouTube. There's actually a lot of really fantastic resources for learning pole online. Although don't do those, come take my class.
I find that incredibly like impressive because like that is definitely something that you could hurt yourself doing.
Well, I have. I was telling
we
them
were
before.
talking about that earlier.
Like I now have like 3 well-accredited fitness certifications. However, like when I started, I did not, and I didn't really know anything about fitness. So I was like stretching on cold muscles and like didn't know how to engage my shoulders properly. And I definitely like have sustained some injuries that have stuck with me from that time period. So it's not for everybody. Some people pull off home polling beautifully, and like more power to y'all because I know the struggle. But if you're not familiar with fitness or your body or you don't have the time to devote to it, take a class for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and there's also that you know, that whole thing where if you go on YouTube and you watch somebody that's doing it at home, you don't see the injuries.
Right.
the
And
falls
they might
and the
not be doing it
mishaps.
correctly.
Yeah.
Like
it might look good,
but it might
you're
not be
only
like
seeing that.
physically safe
Yeah.
too. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a lot that goes into it that like people don't think about. It's not just like, oh, grab on and go. It's like you have to be thinking about, like we were talking about, your joints.
Mm-hmm.
Like my students are probably so sick of hearing me say, engage your shoulders, engage your core. Like, because you really have to like prepare your body for this shit.
Yeah.
Or like warm up. We spend a good 20 minutes warming up before we do class. Because it's strenuous. Like
Yeah.
your muscles need that elasticity. Your blood's got to be flowing. Your temperature's got to be elevated. Because you really can hurt yourself.
Well, because you're not just like using your muscles, like you're stretching as well. You're doing
Absolutely.
actual movements compared to like if you, not saying like the gym is any better or worse, but like you're
Right.
going to the gym, you pick up a weight, you lift it up and you put it down.
Right.
Or you do a repetitive movement. Like this is more variable. I feel like you're more,
dynamic.
Definitely. But it is definitely like a healthy combination of like fitness nerding out here for a minute, but like fast twitch and slow twitch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Muscle fiber
Yeah.
movements, like depending on what you're doing. There's lots of like heavy duty transitions that are like high impact, and then there's just like isometric holds, you know, that work like your your stabilizer muscles. And that's why I like pole. It's like it's a very well-rounded workout. You work like every muscle in your body in various ways.
Yeah.
And like you said, you totally get like the flexibility element of it as well, which helped me a lot. I'm not naturally flexible.
Well, and it's probably like extra hard because, you know, I think the biggest thing, and I don't know why I just thought of this, but like what other exercise do you do that's also art?
Various other aerial things, but that's it.
Well, yeah, like, you know,
I mean, dance of any kind, really.
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of along those same lines. Dancing in and of itself is difficult. It's very hard. But one of the things that makes it extremely hard is that you have to do it in a way that looks good, that's visually pleasing.
Right. And then if
that's
you want to add
hard.
music to it, you got to work in the tempo.
Yeah.
And
Like making everything look smooth and natural
Yes.
is very difficult.
But
It
you're
is very
still talking
difficult.
about just dancing. So you're going from dancing to something that's on the floor where your feet are under you. And then
Right.
now you're on a pole.
pole.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny though, because like
That's dumb.
I can pole dance like till the cows come home. You take the pole away and I'm like,
You're like Ashley
white
Simpson
dad at a
on
barbecue.
Saturday Night Live.
like, I can't fucking dance. I can dance on a pole or with a pair of heels on the floor, but like normal dancing.
But you said you did ballet whenever you were little?
I did a little bit about it. I was mostly modern dance,
okay.
which is like making shapes and shit. But like if my friends were like, let's go out to the club, I'd be like, oh no, please don't bring me.
not me.
I don't know how to dance at a club.
I'd be like, I need a few shots. And I just won't remember it. You guys are driving. You
Right.
just drive my ass home.
Exactly. See, I've definitely gotten in my comfort zone with pole, which is why I stay on the pole. Y'all can have the I don't like bars anyway.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
You don't like bars either?
No, we normally just hang out at home.
This is why we're friends. This is why we're friends from afar.
We like
You guys are in your home, we're in our home.
we always get like a wild hair and we're like, yeah, let's go out. This sounds like a great idea. Let's go to a bar. And then we're at a bar. We're just like, what the fuck are we doing
This
here?
is awful. Can we go home, please?
We make ourselves stay like the obligated amount of time. And
Yep.
then we're just like, are you
if
good?
we stay
Yeah,
till
I'm good.
midnight,
Yeah,
then
okay.
we're cool.
What's the sketchiest situation you've ever been in?
Regarding what? Pole?
Anything
I feel like you could have gotten in.
that you want to talk about
Yeah,
on
there's
the
a
podcast?
lot I don't really want to talk about on the podcast. Fuck. How about you first? Well,
Oh
I
man.
think.
Okay, let me think here.
Yeah, the weirdest thing that I've ever like wasn't even like weird. Like we had the cafe. You and Drew were probably there that night. But the show was over, and I went to take my after show poo, sit in the bathroom, just chilling. There was still probably about 20, 30 people in the bar. I went back there. I was back there for a solid 15 minutes. Just enjoying my solitude.
Yeah, of course.
Walk out, and there's nobody in the bar. Nobody.
Whoa.
Gone.
That's creepy.
What had happened was, I guess some drunk dude was just being a fucking dick to Sissy. So he had, or she had, Zach Lawson's dad kind of escort him out, and she was walking behind the guy, and his dad was in front of the guy. So like he was in between. This dude was in between them. Apparently, or no, he couldn't have been. I guess it must have been like the dude, Sissy, then the dad. I guess the dude, once they got right outside, swung at Sissy or tried to.
Jesus.
And Moose is his name. Fucking, I love that.
What
dude.
a name.
He's so good.
The dad?
Yeah, the dad just leveled this dude, and like, I mean, I'm pretty sure there was blood coming out of his ears. One hit down on the ground,
shit.
Wow.
and like,
How do you fucking swing at Sissy? She is a tiny
Right?
human.
she's
Seriously.
also when she gets riled up, she's very mouthy.
Yeah, I could see
And,
that
you
a
know,
little bit.
definitely see
But
that.
even so,
even so,
like,
you don't swing.
that's
like,
not
you know,
a fair match.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. Like I
Yeah.
can get mouthy, but I don't think anybody's gonna swing at me. I'm a tiny human.
Right.
They'd feel
Yeah.
real guilty about it.
Swing
So
on
Right.
I walk out and I'm like, where the fuck is everybody? I see a bunch of people outside, so I walk outside and I'm like, I look down and it's literally Sissy holding this dude's head in her lap, and there's just blood everywhere. And I was like, what the fuck happened? Like, I literally was.
I just had to poop.
I
Like-
just went poop. Like, come the fuck on, guys. Like, so. Yeah, the ambulance came and the dude refused to get in the ambulance and just ran off. I was like,
Oh, I heard
Wait,
that
why did
story.
Sissy have his
I
head
remember
in
that
her
now.
lap if he was trying to fuck her up?
he was out.
She gave a
So
fuck?
she was like worried.
She
Yeah,
cared?
she worried.
She's
she was
such a
worried.
good-hearted person.
Like she worried that
I would
like,
have been like, fuck you.
like if he would have just gotten like
Stay down,
punched,
bitch. Seriously.
like if he would have just gotten like knocked out and there was like no blood, she probably wouldn't have done that. But he was literally
Right.
bleeding from like all of his facial orifices, like everywhere.
Jeepers.
It was insane. So yeah, you guys, I know you
I
guys.
know
have met
I've
him.
probably met him.
But yeah.
That was years ago now.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's been over 2.5 years since we
Oh
closed.
my God.
Blows my mind.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah,
That
I
feels
miss
like a
it.
lifetime. I
We
miss
had
it.
a
I
heck of
miss
good
it
time
so
there.
much.
I really do.
it was fun. So I met you guys. I was friends with Drew and probably you on Facebook at some point.
Mm.
And we met you guys at like in the Big Lots parking lot. I mean, that one day we were in Big
That's
Lots getting stuff
incredibly
together.
Yes, because was that before the first Country Chaos? And
Yeah.
and we had asked you guys if you,
To do the sound.
but we
Yeah.
had never met
Never
you,
met.
and you were with Sissy's parents.
yeah, mhm.
Was Sissy there, or was it just you and them? I feel like it was just you and them because we were on our way to
yeah.
the gym when the gym was at the old gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just me and our
Yes.
parents. We were getting like different stuff at Big Lots
Yeah,
for the cafe. Yeah. So
Oh, memories.
yeah. I was thinking about that earlier. It's crazy. Like
that
and
how
that was
we
in
met?
like
In the Big Lots parking lot? No, I'm pretty sure you complimented me on my bicep curls.
I did. No,
Or
so I
my
met
pull-ups or
I met
something.
Drew first, and
Yeah.
he had talked to me at the. I remember somehow a conversation had started, but then you were there, and I was just like, "Oh, I like how cute she is. She looks great." And then
I was over there like, oh my God, look at that cute girl.
and then you guys had invited me over to like one of your like parties at your house, and like that's actually how I think he met the both
No,
of you.
I met Drew for the first time at the cafe. I
Yes,
remember
cafe.
that
I
distinctly.
remember meeting you because we
because-
talked about healers and like I think we
Yeah.
were both drunk and we had one of those
Yeah,
moments. I was like, oh
we
my God,
did.
you have a blue healer. I
Yeah.
want one. Well, we're best
God, I was
friends.
so tanked. Man, I remember that.
Yeah.
I just remember, I know for a fact I met Drew at the cafe first
Mm-hmm.
because I remember seeing him and being like, that guy scares me.
that's kind of like
I
how
was
I
never
was like.
scared of him.
And
I
then
was
he
just like,
talked-
I was like, you look like a cool motherfucker.
And then
That's
he
like what
talked
I
to me.
thought.
Then he talked to me and I was like, oh, okay.
He's like, because the first, like, I mean, obviously, talking to you guys on Facebook before we actually met, like, seeing Drew's Facebook profile picture at the time, like, it was just like him shirtless, jacked, dreadlocks. Like,
With
I'm
like,
just like,
a rifle or
yeah,
something.
I'm like,
Well, the
dude's-
throat tattoo was what did it for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
the
I saw
neck
Dude,
that.
that
tattoo.
had
and I
to
was
hurt
like,
like an
ooh.
MFer, man.
Yeah.
He said he laughed through the whole thing. He said it tickled.
He's a weirdo.
He's a total weirdo.
but yeah, like, I was like, man, this guy's like, it looks kind of scary. Yeah. But then, like, you know, meeting Drew and hanging out with him is like, he's a fucking sweetheart.
Oh,
Like-
yeah.
Like, I don't know how many times I've gotten drunk at the cafe and just like opened up to him and just,
Oh
like,
my God,
you
he's
know,
everyone's
yeah.
therapist.
Yeah.
Like, I really, if we had the money, I would send him to college, like to get a degree in this shit because we
I don't
be
think
rich.
he would like college.
I do not think he would either.
I think
like-
he's too
No.
like you said like with
He
your
knows too much already.
Yeah.
He doesn't
a
need to go to
very,
college, but to
very
get
smart
paid.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he is. He's brilliant.
Yeah.
He's a genius. He's gonna be like, "How'd the podcast go?" And I'll be like, "It was great. We talked about you
We
the whole
talked about
time."
you the whole time.
Yeah, like I wish there was some way that like from the cafe, you and him helping out, like, dude, me and him wading through fucking sewage.
The basement.
Dude, like you guys helped out so fucking much. You know, it's just great.
Yeah,
And
well,
I'm
you're
still
giving it back
appreciative
right
of
now,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. So
And you did sound at the shows that we had. and
that's like one
everything.
time, but like Drew was down there every day if there's anything I needed help with. he would
Yeah,
just
well,
come down
that's
and,
what
you know,
community's about,
yeah.
dude.
So I always appreciate
Still,
that.
offer
So,
still stands too. We
I
got you.
appreciate it.
We
Thank
never
you.
got a sketchy story out of you.
Yeah, we did. I think she was hoping for that to get us off
I
on another
really
tangent.
was.
and she
I
just-
Yeah.
really was hoping that would disappear. The story that I have in mind does not have a beginning, middle, and end. Can I skip this one?
Sure.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. You can pass
It's
on
like this
We're
one
gonna get
time.
to that
This
point.
one time I was at a protest and I put a bike lock on my neck and I locked myself to this other girl's neck and then we went to jail.
If you want to hear the rest of the crazy story, you have to sign up for classes with Vertical Vixens.
She'll tell you in person.
Yep.
There you go.
There you go.
I like that.
Beautiful.
That's perfect. I'm also a really bad storyteller. Like
could-
this one
so-
time I did a thing
Right there.
and I'll like sit and wait.
Right there. Her.
I could make
Like,
it really cool
it
and
was
just
funny, right? It was cool, and they're just like,
No.
I'll just
That's
bleep
it.
out random words
Okay.
like every 3 or 4 words, so it just sounds like really fucking weird. Be like, dude, it's the craziest.
That was the
goddamn
craziest story I ever
Like, I
heard.
couldn't
Never
like
gonna believe
like,
it.
Yeah, like
No.
you can't even hear it. It was that fucking crazy.
His brother wanted to start a separate podcast for me to tell stories and like to see
Story
what
time with Jessica.
Yeah.
Can I co-host? Because I feel like I'm on your level, girl.
They're only like supposed to be like 15-minute segments, and they're only like they might be good or they might be bad. And you never know.
That's the mystery
They're gonna
box.
be really bad.
I love it.
Fuck off! You're fucking bald.
Oh,
Yeah, you're bald. Your head looks like a penis.
A beautiful.
what you got to say about that, huh?
Nothing, because I hear it every day.
It's a
The
term of
abuse.
endearment. Your head looks like a penis. You know?
Is it?
No, I'm just making up shit now.
You know what's crazy is she is probably the least appropriate person that we've had on the show.
No.
Who? Jess?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was sitting on the couch earlier today, just drinking my coffee. She walks out of the kitchen with her coffee and just
Nah.
she's like, ah! It's like, cool. It was not expecting.
What's funny is like, so you can always tell, and I want this included. Okay,
Okay.
don't cut this. But you can always tell whenever she's farted
Because I
because
laugh.
she'll laugh. Like she'll just be sitting there at the kitchen table doing homework with her headphones in, like whatever, and I'll just hear like. And I know that she just ripped it in there.
That's fantastic.
That's how I am. Like whenever I lived with Madison, like the bathroom and then the porch for some reason had the best like echo. So when I farted, like I'd just be peeing and I would just fart. It's just loud. It was echo, and I would just laugh my ass off, like almost to the point of tears. And she'd be in the bedroom. She's like, "You're fucking disgusting." Or I'd be like out on the porch, like laying down smoking. And I would fart, and like she couldn't hear that, but she'd just hear me laughing. And I'd come back inside. She's like, "You just shit on the porch?" I'm like, yeah, like it just echoed because it just the way the walls were. It was just like
Great.
it was amazing.
Simple creatures.
I had the best bonding moment with my nephew like 2 weeks ago.
How old is your nephew?
He's 10.
Lucas.
Well, he's either
Perfect.
9 or 10. I don't remember.
He's 10.
He turned 10?
He's
Okay.
5'3"
He's
Whoa.
huge.
and weighs
Damn.
140 pounds.
That is
140
larger
pounds.
than I
He wears a
am.
size 11 shoe.
Huge,
Huge.
huge.
Big boy.
He can wear my shoes.
No shit. You got.
I have big feet.
You got big ass
He
feet.
can wear my shoes. Yeah.
I mean, I
crazy.
can wear a size 15. Doesn't mean it's gonna fit.
Listen, you. But so we were walking to go see Jurassic Park, the new one. And as we're walking in, I had to fart. And so I was like, hey, do you hear that? And he's like, what? And I ripped it. Right? It was a good one, too. He starts laughing and he's like, oh, that was a good one. High five. So I go to high five him. And when I high five him, he farts too. And my sister was walking behind us. And she was just like, can we not fart all over me? Like,
That's a perfect way to bond with a 10-year-old
oh,
boy.
yeah.
Though.
It's great. Dude, my sister, not his, I have 2 sisters. His mother tells me all the time, she's just like, it is so frustrating because it's like growing up with you again.
That's
For a
great. At
second
least
time.
she's trained. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
he is a mirror image of me when I was his age. Just like way bigger.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Way bigger.
I feel like he's probably nicer than you were too.
Is he balding too?
You guys are
Right.
stupid.
You're fucking stupid.
No, you're stupid.
I know.
You're all smart and beautiful.
Thank you.
Jess, did you have anything else?
I need
that
you in my
wanted to
life
talk
more
about?
because they're just like
I
shit all over me
know.
all the time, and you're just like, you're beautiful.
I try to be positive.
It's okay.
I'm normally pretty
I
positive.
think they're just trying to
I
make
Get
me
the
a-
fuck out of
tell
here. You
everyone
are
to fuck
not
off all the time.
positive.
Oh, the truth comes out.
Yeah, it's like we'll be sitting there, and she's just like, Jed, you're a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, just randomly.
Shit like that. I've heard that a few times. There's
Yeah.
also sometimes where, like your
Sometimes
It's
you
deserved.
your
ask
fucking
for
dad
it.
joke stuff that you're just like one after the other, after the other. the other
Dude, he
day. It
just
was
sits and
like,
say dad
dude,
joke
what was
after
that one?
dad
I like
joke
dad
after
jokes.
dad joke.
Okay,
so
how's
listen.
this? What's your best dad joke?
Oh, man. Best dad joke.
He just sat there and
I love
that's,
bad
that's a hard one.
jokes.
Man, I'm trying.
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay, you go first. Yeah.
I mean,
How much does it cost for a pirate to get his ears pierced?
How much?
A buccaneer.
Okay, I got one. Why can't dinosaurs clap?
Because their fucking arms are too short.
Because they're dead.
That's pretty good.
I got one.
ahead.
That's what I sent you guys earlier, and nobody responded.
No, I laughed about
laugh
it.
about it? Okay.
I thought you were near. I was
So,
laughing.
A man walks into a zoo. There's only one animal there, and it's a dog. It's a Shih Tzu. I love it.
That's good.
Dad jokes are fucking
What's the
crazy.
lettuce one that you
Can we
would
just do
sell?
like a dad jokes
lettuce?
podcast?
Yeah,
That'd
you
be
have
so
one about
cool.
lettuce.
Yes.
Just be dads.
Absolutely.
You could do. I mean,
I don't know if
doesn't
it's
have to
I'd
like
be
a
a great
grilled
dad.
tea
Yeah,
and you're like
yeah.
lettuce something.
We call everybody
or
dad.
like a vegetable
like
one.
all of our friends dad. So like whenever we get together and my dad's there, and like somebody comes in, like Lyndon will walk in or like Jed will walk in and be like, "What's up, Dad?" And my dad's like,
What?
we're like, "No, dad. Your dad,
other dad.
Your dad.
Your real dad.
Like,
So I do have a good one that I read the other day though. Is I like this one. So a man goes to a bar and the bouncer stops him because he doesn't have a tie on. He's like, "Hey man, tie only." He's like, "All right, cool." So he goes back to his car, doesn't have a tie, but he has jumper cables. So he ties the jumper cables around his neck and he comes back to the bouncer and he goes, "Hey, I couldn't find a tie. Will these work?" Bouncer says, "Sure, go on in, just don't start anything."
That's good.
Because it's jumper
so
cables.
dumb.
Yep.
So dumb.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad one.
The best kind.
Man, I'm trying to think. I have so many, but
Did you were going on? I
They're
don't. Well,
just
I
not
think you were
coming up.
reading
Oh.
them off a website though, the other day.
why did the bicycle fall over?
I don't know.
Because it was too tired.
Hey, that's good.
Why do chicken coops only have 2 doors?
Why?
Because if they had 4, it'd be a chicken sedan.
That's pretty good.
I like that one.
This podcast has been brought to you by 13 Palm Trees Podcast Productions. Check us out online at 13palmtrees.com.